I have in the studio Miracles Aboagye. It's always a pleasure to have you here on Newsdesk. Oh, I'm glad you're here. So let's get into the issues. We'll get your brief reaction on the calls for the lands minister to go. The NPP already has a stance when it comes to illegal mining. Do you think those calls are valid at this point?
I really doubt those who try to scapegoat in situations like this actually mean well for the country, and then you begin to ask yourself whether genuinely it is the issue they want addressed or they just want to do politics. These are people who say lands minister should go, but tell us to go and vote for former President Mahama and come with his ministers. This is a group of people who were in power and could not manage this situation. You recall when Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo came to office and was being sworn in his statement, he had Galamsey as a major issue, which he promised to deal with. You recall? What it means is that anybody that creates an impression as if Galamsey was a creation of Nana Akufo-Addo in the last 8 years is just trying to do politics. I'm bringing all of this in to simply say that this is a social canker. You don't fight social canker scapegoating. If you scapegoat in the fight against social canker, you don't get results. Because what happens is that you allow the actual perpetrators to hide. Because you're not even pointing at them. You're not talking about them. You're not addressing them. You rather identify one or two people and you keep hammering as if today Aboagye is removed from the lands ministry, there will be no Galamsey. This is a canker where the former environment minister, Honorable Ayariga, under the NDC, actually said on record, and it's reported on your portal, that he thinks we should give up on the fight against Galamsey. In fact, he recommended that we should legalize illegal mining. I mean, you see the contradiction. Legalize illegal mining. Where he said that it has become so difficult fighting this canker under the Atena because chiefs are involved. According to him, chiefs are involved. Religious leaders are involved. Opinion leaders, assembly members, and everybody, is involved. And so if you just get up and say, oh, there's Galamsey, fire the lands minister. Before the lands minister, was there Galamsey? Was there Galamsey before this lands minister? And so if you fire the lands minister tomorrow, does it end Galamsey?
So you feel that calls to relieve him of duty is not important?
No, the point is that before I say that, let's relieve you of your role as a host on this program, you might have been culpable of something. I might have seen that you are either incompetent in fixing it, or you are doing what you are doing, or you haven't done what it is that you are supposed to do. But so I haven't heard anybody say any such thing about the lands minister. And my problem is that you don't find social canker by scapegoating and politicizing. If you try to fight social canker by scapegoating and politicizing, you leave the real culprits. They'll be doing their thing whilst you fight amongst yourselves. I am one person that has refrained from allowing myself to be drawn into this Galamsey conversation on partisan lines. Whose purpose does it serve? Who wins in this? This Galamsey menace, right from 2011, that's when it reared its head, under the former president as vice president and former President Mills. Before, whilst Wallace was in office, we had Galamsey. Galamsey is an 80s, 60s, 70s ancient pre-colonial activity. But they were not mining in river bodies. The actual river body Galamsey that we are seeing today reared its head in 2010, 2011. For the entire period that these people that are advocating for somebody to be scapegoated were in power, they couldn't fight it. They gave up. They lifted their hands in despair. We are people who have come to inherit this canker from them. And that should be put on record. And so it is we rather who are trying to fight a canker introduced by them. And so what should be done right now is to say that what is government's effort so far in the fight against this social canker? Why hasn't it worked? Government, we think that you should tweak this side, you should tweak this side, you should tweak this side. But I don't know why Galamsey fight is becoming very difficult. All of a sudden, we've allowed some of these people who claim to be neutrals to put this Galamsey conversation into the partisan political contest. So what happens is that everybody in Ghana today thinks that Galamsey is there because MPP officials are doing Galamsey. Was it NDC officials who were doing Galamsey in 2010, 2011, 2012, 2014? When the minister gave out, when cocoa farms were being cut down? Didn't the former president, please hold on, didn't the former president set up a task force to deal with Galamsey? Why didn't it work? So you're saying that we should vote against it and go for who? The one who introduced it. And that is my worry. You have somebody...
So you don't want us to politicize issues?
No.
Fair point.
You have somebody digging under his bed.
We're dealing with an emergency here, because the Ghana Water Company has served notice that Ghana, we may be forced to import water in the nearest future because of the dire impact of illegal mining. Now, we are quite interested in this administration because we know that at the start of this administration, the president assured us that he would deal with this. This is the key reason why Operation Vanguard was created. And so at this point where our water bodies are polluted and people are struggling to even find potable water, even though they live very close to the river bodies, the concern is about action.
That is the point.
Exactly.
So the evidence
we want
is that,
to see
so the evidence
some
is
sort
that,
of action.
What is the action? What action is left
what
other
action
than
is the
what action is left other than the government sending military men and police to go and burn excavators and to get these people out of our river bodies? What action is left other than the government setting up community mining schemes and draw these young people to do safe mining? What action is left beyond the government providing the river body guards to help patrol these places? And this is a social canker. What it means is that it is a crime. And people would always find ways and means to commit a crime. That is why even though we have police, we still have people committing robbery this morning and this afternoon. But there is police. The fact that government and state have police and all security agencies doesn't mean that people have stopped committing a crime. But you see, when you are fighting a social canker, it's a different ballgame. When you have somebody digging under his bed, his own bed, so he can mine, you can see the psyche of these people and how much they want to get involved in this. That is why it is important for us to call out those who are making it difficult for us to fight the social canker. Why haven't you or anybody on the multimedia platform ever played this NDC video?
So why don't you call out the names?
No, but for example, the video is out there. The man who is spearheading the NDC agenda when it comes to mining, Dr. Tony Obin, and the NDC national officers are on video, not once, not twice, not just 3 locations, but multiple locations, videos of which are on social media. And think about this. Whilst government is beating people, arresting people, burning excavators, the other important aspect of this fight against Galamsey is the social reorientation, where people would need to have a reorientation of their minds to understand the danger that this Galamsey thing poses to us as our survival. Then you have the biggest opposition party who is fighting to come to power in the Galamsey side, standing with them and telling them that, you know what, Galamsey preceded politics. Vote against these people and vote for us. When we come to office, do you see this man? His name is Tony Obin. He is the one who is going to be made the CEO of Minerals Commission. The very day NDC wins power, we are going to let all of you come and mine. This is the real threat. This is the real emergency. There is not a single enabler that is bigger than this issue. Because you see, what is happening is that you go and embolden the guys. So government cannot be in everybody's home at the same time. So you send Operation Vanguard, they go and burn excavators and leave. And these people go and they are emboldened. Today, when you go to the mining areas, they will tell you that, you know what, let me go and mine. I'll make money. If they arrest me within 3 months, NDC will come, they will come and remove me.
And we'll hold a calls for a state of emergency
to
be declared.
For what?
Do you feel it's necessary?
No, I'm just asking for what?
You feel
Do you
it's
remember
not necessary?
in 2018 or 2019, there was a ban on small-scale mining?
Yeah.
Did they end Galamsey? I keep telling you, we've allowed these guys to mislead all of us on a path that will never get Galamsey solved. Galamsey is a social canker. These people live in this area. This is all they know their entire lives. Now, think about it. And that is where I'm coming into Dr. Mahmoud Bamiye's proposal for dealing with Galamsey. The person has grown up in this area from the age of 6. He sees all these things happening. He doesn't know where the gold actually is, but he knows that the land he lives on has gold. And so he wakes up in the morning, he starts scavenging and just hope that he finds something. And because it's very difficult to scavenge on the rocks and on earth, he goes to the river bodies where it is easy. Over there, as he digs, he's washing and he gets what he wants. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is saying that if we don't rechannel the energies of these young people into safe and appropriate mining, this fight we are talking about is a dead fight. And I agree with him. I absolutely agree with him. So he says he is going to provide the geo data that shows where these minerals can be found. Now, if you're a Ghanaian and you identify a concession, of course, based on the geo data that government has provided you, and you are interested in mining, currently, the Ghanaian will travel to the US or to China and go and look for a partner because we don't have the money to be able to mine safely. He's going to set up the Minerals Development Bank that will provide the financial muscle needed for the Ghanaian concessionaire to mine so that these concessions will be wholly Ghanaian owned. Then all these young people who are in these rivers will now have a local man that has a concession that has been given the muscle by government to be able to mine, the financial muscle by government to be able to mine safely. And then they will all work for this person to do safe and appropriate mining. Do you know how many small-scale mining firms are in Ghana doing safe and appropriate mining? Are you aware that about 40% of our gold that we have, gold production every year, is from small-scale mining? And let me shock you. These small-scale miners are not doing illegal mining. They are not doing Galamsey. We should stop putting all of these things together. Galamsey, as we are defining it today, and we are discussing today, are the people, one, who don't have the licenses to mine, and two, who are mining in our river bodies, in our forest reserves, where they are not supposed to mine. So if you have been able to mobilize resources, you have a concession in Seshi somewhere, you have all the regulations, you have employed, there is a small-scale mining firm employing close to about 5,000 young people in the western region. You are saying that we should ban them for what's wrong? What crime has he committed? Because there is armed robbery, everybody should be left at home, everybody should be kept at home. Is that a sensible way to solve a social canker? That there is a lot of armed robbery, or there's a lot of phone snatching around Circle. So government should ban everybody coming to Circle. That is an emotional way of trying to solve a problem. And that is why I keep telling you that these people who come on TV and radio and talk about ban, they are doing politics. Because you see, the NDC are the ones leading all these things with all their surrogates. Then when they come on radio and say government is not fighting it, do this, then they'll go to the pit. And I've sent the video to Eko, and I'm begging Eko to play this video, to hear these NDC operatives telling these Galamseyers that forget MPP. You say they are sacking you, and they are burning you excavators. And then let me tell you one thing. If you have the opponents going into the pits to go and say these things, don't you realize that they have disarmed government effort in fighting this canker? Because anytime government goes in and leaves, the people will come back because they have a backing. Don't forget, the flag bearer of the opposition party, these people who are in the pit encouraging the Galamseyers, has already told the Galamseyers that when I become president, I will free all of you who have committed a crime and have been imprisoned. Why do we think we don't have to talk about this? All of you, producers, media people, why are you not talking about this? Why are you making it look like the solution?
I'm just getting information right now from my producer that video you just shared was as far back as 2020. Does that change your position? No,
that is why it should be played. That should tell you why we are still here, in spite of all the things you mentioned. That is why it should be played, and I want it played. They shouldn't cover it up. Let the viewers see it. That the reason why Operation Vanguard will fail, the reason why Operation Halt will fail, the reason why we've burnt a lot of excavators, beat people, this government has jailed, prosecuted and jailed the most.
And we'll bring you that video for our viewers watching. Very eager on social media to watch it. We'll bring it. We'll bring it shortly. We'll play it. So I'm just getting information from my producer that will play you that video shortly. But let's come back to the substantive issue.
It tells you why the fight will delay. Because these people are emboldened and are enabled by, you know how strong an opposition party is.
Well, you're just making the point right now that to a large extent the people we're hearing raise noise about the impact of illegal mining are politically motivated. But how about labor unions, TUC, demanding that government act, else they withdraw their services nationwide? How about the Christian Council?
You see, you're not hearing them. You know why? It is because we've allowed the politics to cover them. These are genuine voices. The labor, these are people who are genuinely raising concerns. But when they raise the concerns, and we allow all these surrogates to come in, we don't ever get to the crux of the matter. Who has ever thought that, or ever brought the discussion to the fore, that Galamsey should be treated as a social canker? I can give you 1,000 reasons why Galamsey is like any form of addiction that you can think of. And the next question is, how do we fight addiction? When you go and arrest a cocaine-addicted victim, does it necessarily get him to stop? If you leave him the next day, don't you think he will go there? But when you arrest him, you take him for rehabilitation, so that by the time you bring him back, he is fully rehabilitated. But here we are not discussing it. We are making it look like today, if you remove Nana Akufo-Addo, Galamsey ends. Meanwhile, before Nana Akufo-Addo, that was when Galamsey started. And who are you removing Nana Akufo-Addo for? The same people who started Galamsey. The people who are in the pit and enabling the Galamseyers. And so I am bringing this up and say that enough, media. Enough of bringing all these surrogates to come and discuss Galamsey. Let's really elevate this Galamsey conversation.
And that's what we've been doing here.
That's what you're doing. When you call Oliver,
spoke to Oliver because they are about to hit the street.
Oliver is always looking for one reason to hit the street.
Demonstration, and that is something that's happening.
Oliver is always looking for one. Ask him. He's always looking for one reason or the other to hit the street. So wait, after he hit the street tomorrow, ends Galamsey. Why are you not going to the house of the former president? Why are you not? Government has done that. Government has introduced river guards. Government has done that. So these are specific things. So the next thing will be, why? Why is it that upon all these interventions government has put in place, we still have this canker coming up? Dear government, shall we relook at what you have done? And can we also propose things that we believe can be done? But if you begin to throw things in, 80 days to elections, 2020, when we asked them to go and fight Galamsey, when we were forcing the hands of the government like we are doing today, to go to Galamsey areas and go and beat people up and seize the excavators, then we were in the pits telling the people to mine and vote for us. This government, because of its quest to fight Galamsey, lost elections in almost all of these Galamsey areas. And anybody believes that they can point fingers at the government, a government that puts its electoral fortunes on the line, and there is evidence that the people voted against them simply because of that effort, you are going to call the government names, and you said that government should be voted against, and be voted for who? The one who is an enabler of Galamsey, the one who introduced Galamsey, the one whose record is there on your portal, indicating clearly that he has failed in the fight against Galamsey, and he has raised his hands. Why are you guys doing this? Why? And nobody wants to talk about it. And then if you talk about it, I come from the mountains, so nobody can accuse me of Galamsey. I've never seen raw gold by myself, so I can speak about it. But make a mistake, come from the central region or come from the western region and talk about Galamsey. The next day they will brand you as a Galamseyer. That's their way of weaving around this thing. And how do we ever get to solve this problem if we continue like this?
So what do you propose we do now?
Dr. Mahmoud, I have taken you through that. Dr. Mahmoud Bamia is saying that, listen, upon a careful review of all the things we have done, it is clear that it is a source of economic survival for a lot of these people in the mining areas. So let's tap into that.
There are calls for the immediate ban of all forms of mining. And these calls are stemming from concerns that it's very difficult to separate the wheat from the chaff at this time when we have just 79 days to the general election. And we want to see action
When I
now.
tell you that this thing is political motivated, you don't understand it. Let me tell you why. Why are they calling us for that now? Are you aware that in 2018 there was a 1.5-year ban on small-scale mining? Did they end Galamsey? Did they end Galamsey? So a strategy you have tried before. Why do you try the same strategy? It didn't work. Why do you try the same strategy? Why don't you propose something new? They talk as if ban against Galamsey proposal is a new thing. It's been done before. It was done in 2018. If it solved Galamsey, why are we discussing Galamsey again? So why is anybody proposing a strategy that never worked in the past that we should do it again? And expect me to follow you hook, line, sinker? No, I will not be hoodwinked. The ban against Galamsey, ban against small-scale mining, I don't think is the way to go because, one, we have tried it before and it didn't solve the problem. Number two, there are people who are legitimately doing small-scale mining. It has nothing to do with Galamsey. It has nothing to do... That we should go and ban Newmont and ban Goldfields and Anglo-Gold Ashanti and all of that. But where Anglo-Gold Ashanti and Newmont and Co are mining, what has it got to do with all the discussions we are having? So again, I tell you that it is politically motivated. Indeed, our water bodies are being affected. Indeed, Galamsey is destroying the water bodies. But the proposals they are making, they are not making it in the interest of the water bodies. They are making it in the interest of their political affiliations. Let's push them like we did to them in 2020. Ban small scale. Do you know what happens when you ban small scale mining? There are tens of thousands of people who are going to lose their jobs. And I'm telling you that. There is one small scale mining, just one, that is employing close to about 5,000. So multiply by the number of small scale mining companies who are genuinely operating. So government should go and ban small scale mining. If my government bans small scale mining, I'll demonstrate against them. You know why? You know why? Because you are going to cause tens of thousands of people to lose their jobs. Why would you do that? So there are armed robbers in town. Because there are armed robbers in town, and there are armed robbers who are snatching phones in Circle, let's ban anybody from coming to Circle. Is that a sensible solution to anything?
Na yɛtoatoa adwen na ne titiriw yɛ magana fo ho die tipɔte yɛ sɛ ɔmoto aba ɛma Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia na enwumere yi mewura ho kakra mewura ho esane sɛ mehwɛ ekwan a yafa so a yɛpɛsɛ yɛde kyekyere ɔman wei na yɛhwɛ ekwan a yɛnnuanom opposition fo edi ɔman no ɛfa so a na ɛareho na ene no aka a few days because there are 80 days yi mu anesa na yɛ kwa koto aba se ye nyina ya nkan ho ambom na ya mfa ni bre anka nkyerɛ NDC fo se afedie abroso moya amana abroso a wa hwe oman ebebo to the extent that we cannot even have a very simple conversation on national issues and this is for entoto abo any area ingum omama oman ne kanko ayetin omama oman ne mpuntuo ayetin e kamia koye se omo de esa ne tuminti ankoman no embo isan se omo adwemu no so man ne bo a na automatically no Ghana for the oman no ahye omonsa enei omo ya to the extent say even when we have the new national issues to discuss wa bemu a na wo shompo so de beba because wo de ko be NDC for ebe cheche no maso no mu de fi atare wo ho no ma settle up say na Ghana for e kan brofom no o ma settle the citizens up against you, but we cannot continue like that. Enkopem da ben na e betena wo no matoto futuro gu yeni na ma ensem poten na da ho na sese ye ka no ye be jaika isane se ye kwakọ yi omo ano enwumrei enkomo a ye ba bedi no ye enkomo a ye Ghana ni bie hi asem e da Ghana ni bie akoma so ha Ghana ni bia ye nyina ye hwese ye bepe kwa be fa so a ye be kyekyere saa enkomo yi na ya bɔ ne po wabra ye nyina ya kabom na ye de nhyehyɛ ya to kwa mu a ye betumi de asoso ano enso e kamia koye se ye nuanom mo opposition NDC mo no they are not interested in dealing with the major national issues that require the attention of the country. For them, they prefer when it is going bad so that it will become their gain. Inti wambia we niya brea udie mika sheshe niyama no na omu dwiri gu fam. Wo sheshe no na omu dwiri gu fam. Wo sheshe no na omu dwiri gu fam. Eneyi adeɛ bakwa ha Ghana for ya dream power wo mine we illegal mining. They are Yenyina yenim say efeno Galamsey. It is one of the biggest social cankers that we have to deal with as a country. Time memorial, year upon year, adaneni. Ye nyina ye pre Ghana ni bio dog Ghana drink Ghana hu bia say we have to find a way to deal with this social canker. But we all agree say you cannot deal with the social canker when you have sabotage. You cannot deal with the social canker when you have people within that are undermining you. You cannot deal with the social canker when you have people within that are fighting your efforts to deal with that canker. Na dia yakra ne say ewia eso de omoka anaju desi omo so eso de omoka omo ma na ye tin amaye omo ma okono ID. But with the mindset of possibilities, we in the New Patriotic Party believe say we shall overcome and we'll be able to deal with this social canker and deal with it once and for all, in spite of Nyama Omoye Editwitwan Yanaimu Editwitwan Yakwemu NDC for Abaye Abatros Achechere Ghana for kom e ka Abatrosa I say Kofi Annan tatwere no yeso bomu a usiwu wambomu a uniwu NDC for de na kwakwa yete say omo abesoan yete say adeso a ye ho hwia eyeyi omo abekatena ye konso ene no omo de osoro no pa so oman ne beko ne nim de nkambo because oman ne bo no benya bibia aka se obesoro no pa akoka che Ghana for say ni ntina me gina so se monto oba mamene dabi de oman penin dada ene ne pound for ya ne say oman ne mbo ntom dom so no pom bisa bon edie na asai wo man nim Ghana fo e mo mehu wo man asai wo monto oba man omo nka dia omo fi se omo no betube na hwan ne ka se wo chichiro man a obenya niam nyina totro te se ne ope no se ne eti bia no obenya papa wom ebi ko nanim no na wonya akwanhie nya difficult ne challenges. What you do is to mobilize the people who can nipa ne bom ne apekwa ye befa so ye besoso no na wo ye den ekon Galamsey ne illegal mining when opposition party no ye nipa ba ko a omo hyemu kena hyemu ja enei makai Catholic Bishops Conference not a friend is saying press release on my makai organized labor press release on my makai various groups concerned be a right because aden and say it's not Ghana for yankasa you say insu to be a right so be able to resist our concern but here resist our concern the biggest question is how do we deal with it and deal with it decisively kwambe ne befa so ye besoso ano ya soso ano prekope social canker de ni yi no endafem to deal with the social canker you need a concerted effort ohia nipa ni nyina say ya no beko benkro as ye tumi deal with social canker nti enumre I am calling on organized labor, I am calling on the clergy, I am calling on traditional authorities, I'm calling on civil society organizations as we call on government to increase its effort in the fight against Galamsey. Please, let's call out the opposition party and tell them that enough is enough. Stop fueling this social canker and stop encouraging bad behavior. Organized labor, civil society organizations, religious groups, say, "Ya sorry, ne yan call out opposition, ne ya adwin say, abai government in power, I, yokotoaba, government in power, yanki kansem guomoso, yanki kansem, we can never solve this without calling out those thwarting the effort of the state in dealing with the matter. Yen to me so no. Let's just say we are not looking for solution. If we fail to call them out, let's just say we are not looking for solution. Let's just say, ya say yen chechire so aban. Aban responsibility. Aban asede ne so obeso so ano. But say clearly, if it is quite clear say in aban effort so obeso so ano no, yenya challenges. Na sa challenges are obvious in our face. Na say yan kan won say ne ejama aban ko a aban ko ntumi nye. And that is why I am saying that whilst we call on government rightly so, mbra ye catch aban ne kwan so ado say aban yen hwe kwa be fa so ye be say ye sapomu nsuo na ade yetumi asoso ano no sambre na nso na ye hwe ekwan ye be fa so a ye ne omo aye akwansi kwan omo si kwemu a omo sei niema ye no omo yi ase anwea ye no omo yi ase anwea no ye be hwe kwan ye be fa so ye no mbeka say aye ne side a let's just say genuinely no our interest is not to fix the problem but to simply look for a scapegoat. Ghana ade ba ko nyankopon de ache yem pa na ye efema godie good tete yin nyina ukọ the friend is saying certain areas are long before colonial masters yi buy my way mu in fact enam ye go there ye wonti na abrofo kro madwe ye den e buy so ye go there ye wonti na ye fa ye gold coast enti e ya de a se ye pew se ye mpew e ya de ba ko nyankopon de ache ye ba ye ntumi ndi ekire na mfa nsei ade ba ko so ye hia pa e betumi age ye nyina ye nkwa madwe mu no niema mienu ni hu pa se nipa bia ehwewa enframa ye home eni nsu aye nom etore bia kom de crowd to be sense wo nom na why okay ba wudidi na tramo no wanye nsu a wobetumi afam ewu nti nsu onya de esi edi hu agro kra but do hwa over the years long before centuries before your colonial masters buy gold wo ho ye Ghana for ye gold ya na ye de koba ye didi edwa gold nsema na yetumi e de chiche ye man gold accounted for over 90% of minerals they export efi Ghana ha small scale mining nko a e man about 40%. But the question is answer na abe for beba no machines ni no whenever but na kwan be na fa so a ye de ye gold nsem no clearly no ye woni ma ye de boabo gold ano ni ade in fact utie mpenifo mo se galamsey e kura no na brofo na gather them and sell na be galamsey na nka no de ya kenkan de ehu na che se bebia omo mututu gold ni ade no ma ye wie no ase no na ye mame ne ye papa no makọ se gu pan mu na de omo wohoro kakra omo nye bia no makokoton no mapon ne ho kakra but over the period ye koyenim nyina as oman no na ye say no na ye say no and in kakran we have gotten to the point where ye gold na nyankopɔ de che yen say ye the question is that what has government done? What has been government's effort in fighting this? What are the successes? What has been the challenges? How do we as a people come together to support government to be able to fight this? A crime ben ye betumi aka ye ho abom as a man na ya ta aban echi na aban dia kontoko yi because say Galamsey ne man sisi no enya ade a aban ko an betumi akon so man ni nyina anta na chi a we fail without the backing and the support of the people. And that is why it's very, very important, extremely important, say, the clergy, the traditional authorities, civil society organizations, organized labor, say, no crap pass, say, you perceive a concert we are. What we have to do is not to just say, abide. No. What we have to do is to come together and support government in the fight against this canker. In the year 2011, and I did about what I said in a kind of say, to the beer, I can't Galamsey in 2024. A few money yet to say, Ghana Hano, Nanado Danko Kufa the bar Bemu 2017, and I Galamsey Shas here. And I Kufa the problem, not a your mind problem. It's the beginning of our difficulty in fighting it. Because you see, oh yes, sir, woman, the end of the political. No woman ni paboniye for no mudi bono no apom baby ate Galamsey hunsem ebeye nsem pa kese pa wo man we mu as far back as 2010, 2011. Omampeni Kufuor one and Galamsey in them. Who was discussing Galamsey between 2000 and 2007, 2008. And yet we're doing small scale mining. And let me also quickly indicate, say, there's a big difference between small scale mining and illegal mining. Galamsey is illegal mining. Small scale mining and yet the same as Galamsey. Small scale mining and yet the same as illegal mining. There are a lot of companies in Ghana doing small scale mining in this country, doing it legitimately and doing it right. Ebimu employ 5,000 people. Ebimu employ 10,000 people. Omu 2 gold, no? Ede chichire or mine, 40% of your gold that you 2 or my way from small scale mining. It is small scale mining. Any Galamsey illegal mining, and ye pay. When we are dealing with the cankers, you can see ye can near my bonnet, a suma say dra subai bonnet Galamsey, ye man fan kofra small scale mining, and ye pay. Because there are people, we know can say you your uncle phobia, or more mayimua, or may invest or musika, edit bois A2 mine underground, or more assassination A2, kama. Ede bois, I may add a teacher of mine. I don't need illegal mining at the bonnet, small scale, my friend is saying, Galamsey, any small scale mining, frafra. I don't need to say, a yendra. 2017, 2018, and I don't for the bar baymu in a small scale mining started here. I don't know who quine na at the bonnet as a coon near so no precopeno, ye man who quine na yarnum a politicizer no, na many pabonia for the young home or mutia didim. Anytime we politicize some of these things, it affects the progress of this country and in the year. In the year 2011, 25th July 2011, floods. Males angered by harmful effects of Galamsey. 25th July 2011, Professor Mills, Nyankopon fa ne crane sie emaye. Ne buafu ewe kwan Galamsey e faswa essay your friend is saying yensase ene yemfu. 2011. Na Akufo-Addo wa bemu. Ne MPP wa bemu. So clearly, say obi create impression chiro say as a Akufo-Addo MPP aban no mpenimfo na ye Galamsey intina Galamsey koswa, then the person doesn't want a solution. The person is simply trying to hang something on Akufo-Addo so he will come to power. Nipa no pay to me it's yen say Akufo-Addo. Professor Mills anya bia a brother Professor Mills complaining about Galamsey na omampanin dada former President Mahama yen advice no na Professor Mills da na yetu Galamsey na no mampeni dada Mahama ona no to Galamsey na. President Mills has expressed fury over the activities of illegal miners, popularly known as Galamsey operators, which he blamed for aggravating the flood situation in some parts of the country. Some districts in the Volta and eastern regions have been ravaged by floods that have so far claimed 5 lives, submerged several communities, destroyed farmlands, and displaced over 5,000 people. President Mills are all complaining about a kwanya Galamsey afaswa asay nsase and infuo in 2011, 25th July. Enti senei obi be create impression chiro say oh na Galamsey dey den ade wo ho na Akufo-Addo ne ba e na oni ne mpenimfo ye we a. Tell the person that we are sorry. We have a social problem a person is solving. Inti say one man ye kwan yan solve sa social problem yi. Na wo de niam bi say be frebu a. Na wo ma ye dwuma na ayeden. Na wo ma solutions na ye pe no ayeden because you are simply calling for people to come and put out the facts of the matter, which clouds the issue. E kata nsem no so, e ma nsem na ye pese ye kanankasa ye den, e ba bonten. E say on my no. Professor Mills 2011 25th July, complaining about a friend is saying Galamsey. Politicians protecting criminals over Galamsey. Rawlings, 2nd March 2015. Former President Rawlings say, as at 2015, no. Now 2015, no, Omampeni dada, a friend is saying John Mahama and Newa Bemu. Former President Rawlings say, Omu protected criminals over Galamsey. And then you have the same former president. Also ya pay to me biem. Ejina campaign plan ka say monto abamba ekufanti ekufado on na ban ye Galamsey you were president. And ye me na maker. Former President Mahama Rawlings and I pointed out how under John Mahama as president, Galamsey koswa ono ene na ban e protect you. What say that? Say MPP party do be kind say na Mahama na wotu Galamsey na. No, we don't do that. We don't behave that way. Yambo minds are our interest is for this wickedness of Galamsey to be ended. That is why we didn't jump into it in 2011, in 2015, in 2012, in 2013, in 2014, under Mahama's era. You don't get solutions. You can't fight a social canker like that. You cannot fight a social canker with a divided front. Obia in the effort say yeah social canker. Obey na do say ofuntum nyamemu a portion blame no oye nipa bone oye oman boy for there is some solution because at the end a social canker e ade a ehye nipa ho body and nipa ad it we yes ape I say wo fie na mo wo ba wo fie na maame ne papa embre bia kwala ne ye bone a ne maame twa no to a na kwala ne dwane na akwa ne papa oba da ne papa de na hye ne chi ne maame bebo no si jano o si o na kwala no wo so hwie so no ku si wo yen hwe de jano we yes akwala no o jai san kwala bonisem na odi ne da because embre bia no onim say dada wo ho nko ade a dada bebo ne ho ban and a lot of we are mo hwebe mo ya aware say yembe ya ye wo fie eto de bia akwala bi wo ho a anytime bia dada wo fie bia no o misbehave dada ni wa no wakana no atum adentia because onim say dada wo ho nko ade a obetumi ya edo pe bia obi entumi nka hwe nche no. That is the whole essence of ensuring say you be keeping united front in the fight against Galamsey, no matter who. Because you see, a criminal, it has no colors. Whether you are MPP, you are NDC, you are CPP, you are traditional authority, you are a church leader, a bonny. And we must make sure say sabon no, you best so no. But in our efforts say you best so sabon no. Yen kai say, enkrofu bi wo ho na nipa bi wo ho. That is their way of life. Into a combination of niyama bebre, force, law enforcement, social reorientation. Say yeri nipa be kasa na ya say amomo adwen sachira ya chiro mo ekwan a niam omu ye e be affect your mabrabo. Ni nyina ka ho friend is saying dissemination of the dangers and challenges, dangers and risk Galamsey de mayen ekwan e be so e be community nim ene o makasa na na wadaroma ono man for yesremo Galamsey yi se men jai na mkoso aye ni se ya nsuo ne se ya ye menye nsuo nware e de yare beba e de menye nsuo nom e be ma hawo ne ade aba. It's all part of the process. At the same time no obi ye bone na hu na wache no na o man branding the di niam o mo de ya it's a combination of so many things. But the biggest part of it is social reorientation no. Because you see senka embra nkoa any law enforcement nkoa etumi ma deviance and I say deviant behavior say nkwala bonesem efri oman biemu and society biemu a anka menyin say yebo am robber and yebo murder and bibi because a lot of people have been found guilty of robbery, murder and taken to jail, and yet every day you have people committing the same crime. Social reorientation, it's a social menace, a problem into a casa, a education, a enlightenment, and a law enforcement. Law enforcement isn't going to be fixing Galamsey. And can law enforcement quite to be fixing Galamsey? And can between 2017 and 2024, they are another damn quick for the new MPP abaya year in the fight against Galamsey Keko. No government in the Fourth Republic has dedicated time and resources to fight Galamsey like Kufuor has done. That is fact. You can disagree with me. You can say whatever you want to say, but facts do not lie. The numbers don't lie. The realities on the ground don't lie. No government has put in such effort like this government has done. However, law enforcement, friend says excavators, and cannot fix Galamsey. And that is why we need to come together as a people. Ye we nyina na eni nipa no so kasa. Na omo hye nipa na chi a omo bo mu chi dom e hye omo kutupa no so no. Ye come asem ye pom ho ntoma. But if we fail to call out these people who are enabling these people and almost show much using politics, we can never win this. We can do whatever you want to do to kick out friend is saying MPP simply because you want MPP out. But nobody can solve it when we don't stick together. Because again, to solve Galamsey no easily. And ka opposition for ne. Omodo manu tutum ye command solve. Why didn't they solve it in 2011? In fact, why did they even allow it to start in the first place in 2011? Because it started under them. This kind of Galamsey that we are seeing started under the opposition NDC. 2011 all the way to 2015, 2016, they could not solve it. Almost solution in here. And yet, we are leaving them, we are allowing them to go scot-free, which is right. Because there's a government in place. But the government is simply saying that, please, we cannot do this alone. Law enforcement is not enough. Embra ye law enforcement na ye social reorientation no. Now crofo ya no NDC for so na no ka chom say moya galamsey. How are you expecting the government to win in this battle? And all of us, the media, the CEOs, everybody, government, which is right, which is correct. No problem about that. But look at this. I am yet to hear a single media person go and sit behind the console and say that NDC for na mo ka catch Galamsey for so mo tosonye. Why are you telling them Galamsey? Not even a single person. How do we win this battle? Are you doing this so that we fix this? Or you are doing this simply because you want to see the government out? Make a story we are quickly. According to Kweku Bako, Mr. Mahama and Branowa Beimu suspended the anti-Galamsey task force, which is set up to arrest illegal small-scale miners as prosecutors. At the end of his tenure in 2016, illegal small-scale mining had assumed alarming proportions, destroying the country's forests, polluting rivers, and degrading the environment. And today, you have the same person coming to tell you, say, MPP because of Galamsey. Under his government, that is when Galamsey, in this current form, started. Under his government, he could not fight Galamsey. In fact, he has not a single record of succeeding at fighting Galamsey. And yet, we have left him scot-free. In our non-mining communities in him, in our other politics, in our cultural. But when people follow, omo pam say munja Galamsey, montomame, beba mama Galamsey, omo fiho, omo bankra. Ladies and gentlemen, our river bodies are being destroyed. These MPP people are the one doing Galamsey, and they continue to destroy our river bodies. Vote against them. How do you intend to fight Galamsey? What is your record in fighting Galamsey? You were vice president, you were president. You had Galamsey at alarming rates under your tenure. How did you fight it? What was your effort? Simple task force I was setting up to fight Galamsey. You couldn't keep it. You couldn't succeed at it. You collapsed it. You suspended the task force. And then today, you have come back. And all of a sudden, you are talking as if you are coming from Mars. And that you've never ever even had the authority in this country to fix this. Courts not helping fight against Galamsey activities. Ofoswan Pofo, 19 January 2011. This is the NDC putting the blame of their inability to fight Galamsey on the court. This is the NDC putting the blame on the inability to fight Galamsey on the people. There was a report mapping the expansion of Galamsey gold mines in the cocoa growing area of Ghana using optical remote sensing. This is a report that was developed. And listen to what the report said, highlights. Or say, area of Galamsey has more than tripled from 2011 to 2015, from 10,907 hectares to 37,696 hectares. 2011 to 2015. Why would anybody create an impression, say, all of a sudden, Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, with all the effort, commitment is put in Galamsey? Of course, we haven't been able to succeed entirely in the fight against Galamsey. But we should never allow anybody to create an impression that Galamsey sprang up all of a sudden when the Akufo-Addo came to power. What is even more painful is how they put it. The entire year who Galamsey because some people for be Galamsey. To the extent that me feel not latte. I'm a table possible cry, simply Galamsey. Simply because almost the year of politics. Meanwhile, this is a report not by government, an independent report that says that Galamsey, no, between the year 2011 and 2015, and Brown Mampeni Mahama Bidio Mampeni, no, Galamsey echo epejaye from about 10,907 hectares to 36,696 hectares. Ewo cocoa growing areas. Galamsey affecting major rivers of Fei, Ankobra, Brim, and Num Tano. In 2013, an estimated area of 551,496 hectares was affected by Galamsey pollution. In 2015, Galamsey encroached into at least 603 hectares of protected forest reserve. Obitivi America say, "Na sabona mo abemu, and na what can the NDC for?" I agree with you. Your responsibility, they say, we'll fight this canker and win it. But I'm bringing this up simply because the NDC is talking. Why not? Why shouldn't we bring it up? Now say nay, akaba 88 to say 87 days ekotwaba. NDC for led by the former president say yentwaba mani yentuntia MP because of Galamsey. So I need to show his scorecard. Of course, there are people who don't know this. There are people who are not aware of this. Why should we continue to fight a social canker in this manner? I am say a social canker. Eh, do munti asi. Mama have video we say nipa da say need to me to call one and pass it. No way to go. There was one and pass here. How else would you call it other than a friend saying a social canker? You have video with here one name, bro. Nipa da sani onwa ni fie onwa bebi onwa ate a wotumi nya kokuduro se otu efie nim na wetu go the fie mu a you don't allow anybody to play politics with such a situation because clearly we need social reorientation for a lot of these people and you do not allow people to continue to do this in the name of politics. Say the part that said to me be any. No one can say call no one demu or no one fear ko tu. Tokro say woman say or do you go there? It tells you how deep this Galamsey situation is in this country. A social problem, one that we need to come together and fight, not one that we sit and do politics with. It is one that we fight together as a people. Enti say opposition party no eba ewia ebegina TV so be ka say MPP form penim for na to go da na say one to obo say that we media man we CSO we religious leader we organized labor we follow chorus now. I'll be asking questions whether it is the canker you want to fix or you have another motive, because if the canker you want to fix, we have a real challenge and threat that we all need to come together and deal with. You don't fix a social canker when you have a divided front. Especially when the person speaking in opposition was president. And during his tenure as president, we had Galamsey tripling. I am in America. This is not an MPP report. This is not a Government of Ghana report. An estimated 551 hectares, 51,000 hectares of land was affected by Galamsey pollution. 2015, Galamsey encroached into at least 603 hectares of protected forest reserve in this country. And then you have the communications officer of NDC sitting on Facebook and writing, say, MPP for to be and fix Galamsey in so number of days, they cannot fix it. This is your scorecard. This is your record. You did nothing. You did nothing. Absolutely nothing. You have no record at all in fighting the Galamsey canker. This is something destroying the nation. In fact, if there is anything at all, and your political party are the ones who are in the forest. You are the ones who are deep in the pit, telling the people to mine and ignore the government. You the NDC, you former President Mahama, you and the comms officer, you are the ones who are in the pit, encouraging the people to mine. I gave you a quick example. Remember a quick example about the issue of Akola Otifie. Oye bonena ne mama kan we dwana question the papa nche ne papa protect no. Office Akola Robert Sisa ne suban. Ye bre. Ye say o man sika. Ye de o man ahodi nyina ekon ade yi. Na wo wonnam pit nim na wo catch nipa no so mo ye Galamsey. How are we going to be able to fix this? How are we going to be able to win this? How are we ever going to be able to win this? And then you are telling me that you're a media man, you haven't seen those videos, you haven't heard those videos, and I haven't seen you say anything about it. And I don't have to talk about it. I will talk about it. Whilst at the same time, I continue to work to fix it. That is how you build a state. If we don't talk about this as well, we'll never win the fight against Galamsey. Okay, I'm saying, one minister, a friend is saying, from Paul Boateng, or not the report by say MPP 4 year Galamsey, near the I have insisted and I've said it here. Galamsey born is a crime. Illegal mining is a crime because it is illegal. Anybody involved, whether MPP, NDC or CPP, let the law deal with them. But no, we will not allow you to create an impression as if, one, Galamsey is a creation of an MPP government. No, the MPP government is the one that has actually highlighted the Galamsey issues and introduced effort to fight the Galamsey issue. This is fact. We may debate its effectiveness, but we cannot take away the fact that this government has shown the energy to fight this Galamsey canker. Abambe na ba I invest say in the fight against Galamsey. Now when they can say MPP before and NDC for and CB before na eye Galamsey, Ghana for ni pabonye for and eye Galamsey. Whether you are NDC, MPP or CPP. The same from Paul Boateng report now we refer to that. We say na from Paul Boateng MPP for. Listen to what the same from Paul Boateng report said. From Paul Boateng say established miners who are members or sympathizers of the NDC. It is well known in the small-scale mining circles that NDC members and sympathizers were well established in small-scale mining, especially in the western region. They acquired several concessions in mineral-rich areas during the long periods of NDC reign. They had the money and other resources to not only sponsor NDC candidates, but also support independent candidates in the supposedly strongholds of the MPP. This is what happened in Evaluadra and Takwa constituencies. In Wasa East District, a former NDC deputy minister, who is also MP for Wasa East constituency, has been actively mining in the Subri forest for years. Subri forest for years. When MPP party officials complained and the army component of the Operation Vanguard was withdrawn almost 2 years to the 2020 election, the NDC was given an advantage in terms of access to resources from mining. Now, Okofa from Paul Boateng report was the MPP 24 years small scale mining in terms of Galamsey. Now with the paragraph now, Sase from Paul Boateng report says Oji Tumudia and also Kase mu established in the mining space and cross the MPP for we not one. And then you tell me that you would you know the paragraph na favor on beto abonten but me no and my family dey beto abonten. This is not the old MPP. This is the new MPP. We believe that every Ghanaian voter is discerning. Yen ye gidi say enay 2024 Ghana ni bi oto abebi adwemu to. Nti yeso ye wo ye chefa yasemo yeso ye beka yeso ye de betudwa. We are not timid. We believe that Ghana ni bi e wo man we mu eye discerning. So koto abanko ade he needs to hear both sides of the stories. You want us to believe and take hook, line, sinker. Yenje Professor Frempong Boateng asem no ntumu prekope. Fine. And the Professor Frempong Boateng say NDC. Money mun penny for we are well established in the mining sector in the western region than any other person. So you are the ones doing the Galamsey in the western region. Do you agree? You disagree? Why? Because it goes against your party. It goes against your party. And I haven't heard any media person read this paragraph. They will only go and read the paragraph that talks about MPP people in small-scale mining, and then they will leave this side that speaks about NDC people well established in small-scale mining. Why are we doing this to ourselves? Why? Why are we doing this to ourselves? And they don't want us to talk about it. How do we fix a social canker if we continue to play chaskele with the issue? Don't we realize, yes, sir, your money panning now quantity. Don't make us why you're born. We are the MPP NDC. Who say we yes, sir, money pa born here for no in your quantity. I know yes, sir. ade yesa wo kan ya yesa wo abaimu ade na wo kasa ade na wo complain mo abaimu na me kasa. Does it change the fact? Does it change the facts? Does it change the fact that between 2011 and 2015 Galamsey cost triple times than any other period? Does it change the facts? Why are we doing this to ourselves? 2011 assembly came 19 June 2012. 300 people died of Galamsey in 2011. It is Obejina Kache me say and Galamsey and the Kufuado and ICIC. You are putting out falsehood. You are putting out falsehood. In 2011, in 2012, when the former president who is asking say Yensan to Obama mayor Mampeni because or no catcher and say Kufuado to be Uncle Galamsey, or no. When he was vice president and president, 300 people died of Galamsey in 2011. 300 people, they died. Satana Galamsey New York. What did he do to fight Galamsey? What did he do to fight Galamsey? I didn't know your man between 2011 and 2015. Galamsey extra poor. I didn't know the task force and the buy some fight Galamsey no. Ujaye. Why? I didn't hear. A Drew baby were my way, no. Under the former president in the NDC. See, I am so angry when I saw the comms officer of the NDC write and say, where is that text? I think I should read that text first. Where is that text? Please look for that text for me. The part where the comms officer of the NDC posted on Facebook. When you guts, effrontery to go and write on Facebook say the MPP could not fight Galamsey in something number of years, and because of that, they cannot. Please, where is that text? And there is no way they can fight Galamsey in the few days at Aka. And I ask myself, say, what effrontery? What effrontery? How dare you even come talk about this? When you were in power, that was when Galamsey started. This is him. If the MPP could not fight Galamsey in 2,805 days, that is since January 7, 2017, with Operation Vanguard, Galamstop, etc., they can certainly not fight Galamsey in 86 days, whether or not a state of emergency is declared. Ghanaians should simply declare a state of emergency on the MPP for destroying our water bodies, forest reserves and lands, and vote them out on 7 December. Dear Ghana, ladies and gentlemen, please, pardon me. But the Krepani say, Semestra no pardon me who say NDC communication officer betros same way. May you know. Semestra no pa. Na me who say NDC comms officer betros same way. May you know. How dare he? How dare him even make a comment on Galamsey? Why can't go far President Kufuor Breso mote Galamsey da. President Kufuor Breso mote Galamsey. Between 2000 and 2007, mote Galamsey da. Mona makofa at the boni we ababetre ya konso. Obampeni Rollins, mo ankasa mo found the beer in ton. I have shown you. E catch and say, mo and mo protected Galamsey. Yes. That was in 2011, 2012. That was when you brought this canker onto us. Mo and mo teaching sa Galamsey or how you better na your console. Aka yenima de kro. The animal say they are so etu fam ni etu gold kakra. Yakoboabo anwan ni ahohoro kakra. Mo and mo de gold a ye tu won so eba o my way mu. I have just shown you a report between 2011 and 2015. Mo trepo Galamsey amode akokoko mfom amode asay no. How dare you? How dare you? This is your former minister. Can I get the where I got to? My former minister, what's his name? Mahama Yariga, speaking and telling us about how they think. Please bring back Mahama Yariga's thing for me. Telling us about how or no Mahama Yariga no environment minister na Sambreno. Yet they are shedding say omboa ne yenko Galamsey no or say I have given up. I have given up. Mahama Yariga say I have given up. News in brief. Minister gives up on fight against illegal mining. Wants a new approach. September 19, 2016. Environment Minister Mahama Yariga says it is time for government to regularize illegal mining. Illegal small-scale mining. Tio. The minister, Sami Jemfina and ne Ocho Facebook say, yen 12 bentia MPP because I want to Uncle Galamsey. Yen for no, and then I buy and yen greed. And you greed and the political experience. How dare you even make that comment? wo mo na mo ko fa asade we nyina be so aye ko na ye pe solution na mo ankasa mo go so toto mu abo no. How dare you even make that comment? This is your minister, the man who was responsible under your government to help us get a solution to Galamsey. Or say, it is time for government to regularize illegal small-scale mining. And your NDC for can mean say you regularizing illegal activity. And your NDC for and can mean that say we regularize illegal activity. This is the NDC minister telling us that we should regularize illegal small-scale mining. Or say, Mahama Yariga says attempts to halt illegal mining activities have not yielded the desired results because wherever there is mineral resources, people will do everything and whatever it takes to be able to extract those resources. The admission comes more than 3 years after the government set up anti-Galamsey task force in May 2013 to clamp down on the practice. President John Dramani Mahama, who inaugurated a 5-member interministerial task force to fight the menace, named as chairman then Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Alhaji Inusa Hussein Nyomomo Keka. This is your scorecard. You, the comms officer of the NDC, writing things that you have no idea about. You know? This is your scorecard. When you were in government, I'm sure that time you were in school, and that's what they did. When your government, which you are seeking to be part of the next one, when your flag bearer was president, and he set up a task force to fight Galamsey that your government brought upon us as a country, you know. When you were in government, this is your scorecard. Mo minister now, you share in sasa on share, near fighting Galamsey, you know, or say he has given up. Now he is recommending say, yema illegal mining, illegal no, yem mining ye regularized. We should regularize illegal mining for the people, and then you have the effrontery, the guts to go on Facebook and go and write to say this government could not fight Galamsey in Tiangutiano. What is your record? Your government's record in fighting Galamsey? You first of all brought Galamsey upon this country. One hour the Galamsey, one hour buying, and the Galamsey bow my way so. Ghana ni beyond trying to nechi. Nenko beside no say on man penning kufa bresone wa de be friend Galamsey yana. Your government brought Galamsey upon us. For 8 years in office, your government had no solution to Galamsey. This is your government's scorecard in the fight against Galamsey. Your government gave up on Galamsey and actually told us as a country that we should regularize Galamsey. This is what your government did. And you have the effrontery to go and write on Facebook, say, vote against MPP and bring back NDC. You are joking. Galamsey worsened in 2010 and water pollution increased. The quality, this is 17 February 2016, MDC are buying. The quality of Ghana's water bodies have deteriorated remarkably after 2010 following the game-changing introduction of heavy machinery in mining on riverbeds. So listen to this. Game-changing introduction of heavy machinery in mining on riverbeds. Game-changing use of the machines has turned many water bodies into milky, silted streams of water that is difficult to purify. This is a canker that is eating us up as a country, and we don't have to politicize it. But you see, when you have the comms officer and the propaganda secretary of the NDC writing on Facebook and politicizing it, we have no option than to show the Gen Zs who were 10 years old, who were 8 years old when this government was in power, what they did. It's only fair. CSOs, media, traditional authority, it's fair. It's only fair that we also say our side of the story, because we have young people who are going to cast their votes and may cast their votes on the wrong impression. Let's all show our scorecard. Your government, your minister said he has given up, and your minister recommended, say, we should make illegal mining regularized. 2016, when you were in government, the report by Joy News indicates, say, you have introduced game-changing heavy machinery in mining on riverbeds. You and your government, you brought machines into the riverbeds in this country. But for you, and you more anyone by NDC and Ghana ha, you nimu say the machines see so to mining. This is in the report on my Enjoy Online. You and your government introduced it, and you say what? We should vote for you back into government to come and do what? Fix something that you brought upon us, for which you had time to fix and you couldn't fix. And there Yakra ne say, or car, on can sample, or say, or going to rent 20 or one from Umbra. What is wrong with you? You think Galamsey is a joke? You think the social can was obviously are going the other? In comfort, lives are at risk. That's what we are trying to fix. Sit somewhere with your politics. Sit somewhere with your dirty politics. And let allow the state fix this thing that is destroyed us. Kope bitina. Kope bitina kraneja and fix it. And you wouldn't NDC abaya. And kagana ha. Yenima dear friend Galamsey. I won't so. Yenima de crow. And you say Galamsey. By the aso. And the pickers. And the idea. Wọ́n wá báyìí ẹ̀nà de Galamsey bẹ́ẹ̀ nsuo so ẹ̀ máa mú àmú find out Rollins akásá bíi ẹni tó ń sẹ́ ẹ̀ òkú ọmọ ayé àmà nàbọ̀ so. Ẹ̀mpo adìẹ ni sẹ́ yẹn no this is a 2016 report that says that mo Galamsey náà ìmọ̀ ayé no mo ayé àmà water bodies are turning into milk. Nsu yẹn nsuo no ayé ti sẹ́ milk ẹ̀nà emu esi under your government in 2016. We came into office with this situation. Yẹ bàbá mu wà abẹ́rẹ́ àná ma sẹ́ yẹn nsuo no and we came in to try to solve a problem that you brought upon us. And you have the effrontery to sit on Facebook and write anything you want. Because about to us, about no power, or yet they are or no, and then Yamina Ecotiano, intimacy so mean to one yampia. Why? Why? And yam one came at the crow. Yeah? 2014, March 17, Ghana to import water soon. Ghana's potential importation of water from neighboring countries seems to be at hand. Or it's not rosy on the side of the fence, and it's maybe time water importation is considered. Ghana is no desert country, but certain unfortunate events may be overtaking us. In fact, how could anyone even think of this? This is during the NDC era. This is 2014. Let nobody lie to you. Let nobody make you think that Galamsey and our illegal money higher person solving no. No, Ekufuado and his government rather are trying to find a solution to a problem that was created by the NDC. Let it be put on record. Until the NDC came to power in 2009, we knew nothing about Galamsey or river bodies. The evidence I've just shown to you. When I did way buy a crown and I some pay solution, omo to me, omo minister say we give you up. I do be to me akosa ntokwa we bi. Nti be ya illegal, I dey na ye illegal no, ye regularize it. That is the recommendation they made the government. And you have an infantry to come and tell the people of Ghana say, this is your scorecard. 10 Galamsey operators buried alive. This is your scorecard. Stop Galamsey now. This is your scorecard. Another Galamsey tragedy, 12 trapped to death. This is your scorecard. On 5th June 2013, 169 Chinese miners were arrested in Ghana's gold mining Ashanti region. These arrests followed Ghanaian President John Dramani Mahamat's decision to put an end to illegal mining by foreigners. Utumi puti an end and so they omo kasa te say embra na oyo mampeni wa ban mu no na ye ni bibi e friend illegal mining na ye ni bibi e friend Galamsey. In fact omo tumi kasa man ye te say Kufuor no wakwa China no wakwa sasa China for egu plane mu no de omo ba Ghana. This is the NDC in power in 2013. China and Ghana to work harder on tackling illegal mining. Ghana to import water soon. 13 Guineans, 16 Ghanaians arrested over Galamsey. Anti-Galamsey task force resumes operation soon. Massive distraction. When na eye niema ekoso under former President Mahama. This is how the situation was when we came to office. And then you have these people still about office in 2017. That is when we encountered this challenge. And Ekufuor said that we have to make sure that we put an end to a canker we came to meet. Ekufuor's first statement of Galamsey was made in 2017. Clearly, that is evidence enough to tell you that it was a major issue before 2017. All Ekufuor has sought to do is to bring a solution to this major issue that we came to meet. Why are we trying to destroy it? Why is the media not talking about it? Why are the CSOs not talking about that? I agree, say, clearly, no, their understanding is that we now be able to fix it. I'm with them 100%. But I'm only saying that we can only fight a social canker together. No government can fight a social canker with a divided front. And so if we're going to win this fight, and if your objective really is to work in ensuring that we fix this there, then call out all the people who are doing this, because they are enemies of the state. The government is putting in so much, the government is doing so much, and anybody involved in this is a criminal. And none of these people should be allowed to go scot-free. And the opposition party should stop going into the mining areas and telling them, say, nearby Galamsey. Almost twice yes, and many panning the abino air canoe because I would say Abroswa Bosumi and Sa now near the more by a quine Galamsey na day. Abba. Ye buy ye beto Sanyama Wina, Yansana. Immediately in a Kufa to make his statue. I don't know if we have the video where Kufa do spoke. If we have that video, please let's play that video. Shall Kufa the video. This was in 2017, and this is evidence that clearly, this canker was there at the time Kufa do Eura Bemu. Where your evidence, I say, Kufa do air bar Bemu. My Tommy was the match church, Bedu Sambe say, send the Kufa do Beba Bemu. Near Galamsey canker. Let's listen to what Kufa said in 2017.
You know that the activities that they're involved in are jeopardizing the very survival of our nation. I took the decision that would be a betrayal of the trust that the Ghanaian people put in me on the 7th of January this year. And as a result, we established this committee within the government to design a policy for us. Not just to stop it, to reclaim the land, to let our rivers work again, but also to see how we can figure a way for all these able-bodied young men who are involved in this activity to find an alternative livelihood. So it's a package. It's a package that we have designed to try and bring this menace to a conclusion. I've said it in the cabinet, and perhaps it's the first time I'll be saying it in public. I am prepared to put my presidency on the line on this matter. I've heard it being said that I should be careful. Many of these people voted for me, and if I continue this exercise, perhaps they will not vote for me again. You know that the activities that they're involved in are jeopardizing the very survival of our nation.
Was not to sort to say NDC for Debbie. It was simply to make a case, and it was a very important key point that necessarily making to show you say the hypocrisy, the inconsistency. Or my to say or what chichiro which is here or chichiro which is send a baby and the events I won't pay once a month. No way you come me not share more like I say I will be not chichiro sana now open one becau. The more you kuma and the hukuma no brand with Sanoko, Sunday NDC for Babe, or much chichiro con you who the fire one year. Now look for the bar Bemu 2017. It was clear say Galamsey was a major headache of this country. So he or the tone also said it couldn't be a better why Galamsey and Tokon. That should be put on record. And I've demonstrated it up to this point. I feel what he has done to ensure say your idea may be brave and on a friend is painful in common or to the any consultations or to the boss make sure say regions on the regions in the building common on Nananu Shia on the MDC Sakasa on the mining communities in Asia Edin common at Pequa Befaso Yedesa Galamsey in Semi Ebecoso or introducing online application for small scale mining licenses. Send a bear application a bit to me I friend say easy now a bit more transparent. Why establish a control room a tracker earth moving equipment in see machines here your friend is saying you need two family a day or the tracker munti a co baby or be say a co baby retooling of inspection directorate and then minerals commission what retooling or minerals commission is regional offices almost is district offices near the care council the bay more or monitoring near the easy why establish minerals development unit geological investigations of blocked out areas, establishment of community mining schemes. Community mining schemes here, they a lot of the mining communities are nipa ni bi a no mo ye Galamsey. Dodo na at least I don't mo abehye community mining schemes mo mo nya bibia ye. Nti yen yi niam ni nyina mfiri ho ye. Yen tumi so ni nyina no, but at least we have something to show that this is what we have put in place over the period. Aban ekoto 100 mercury free gold processing equipment. Ade ba ko high pie gold processing ni say eya na mercury no e France so ni France asena e cause problems man. Nti aban ankasa e feska e de koto 100 of machines eno no en use mercury e de processing gold e de ba oman mu mining communities no. Aban ko for speedboat a eboa ene na munsuo no so e hwe say obi ye nsuo no so bone ni ade a ebetumi aye free o aban set up alternate livelihood project and I said the friend light national alternate employment and livelihood program me constituency Kapem North oko akwate akwaso a rich plantations wo ho aban through the land commission and the ministry of lands and natural resources and the alternative livelihood program aye big nursery omo provide seedlings emma mining areas no baby ansase na say baby a omo pese omo ye money aban se mudabi munjai mining monje na mundua na mundi nduaba na ewo mu no whilst they are doing that no aban bo mo ekwan bebre so it's government has put in a lot of effort to create an alternate livelihood for these mining communities. Aban I establish geological investigations and ma kan ehun asemumpo already. Community mining schemes aban aye recruitment of river wardens obo mo boa ehwe efe ne sen insuo no so aban aye 100 mercury free gold processing equipment aban de aba aban e the speedboats aye de fight Galamsey e wo nsuo no so aban introduce aban e the drones enam aye tumi fe wie mu hwe de ekoso wo nsuo no so aban de aba aban a prosecute illegal miners. In fact se wo pe obi pa wa prosecute illegal miners aban a prosecute illegal miners e wo man we mu a na dan kwekufu ado aban community mining schemes me no ka say a free 2021 echo 2024 25 legal community mining schemes I cover about 3,574 acres 149 concessions and are buying I establishing out of that 84,000 jobs direct jobs any 31,400 indirect jobs totaling about 115,400 jobs and are buying a created through community mining schemes. What this simply means, they say, but for buying community mining schemes or the aba, or the mercury free machines yaba, my communities here, and can omo mining, omo free more and omo community mining, omunya still omo the omo pay, a day omo passion for, no say be free mono. But for that, this 115,000 people would also be in the pits and the river bodies. So yes, ye ni free way, ye omo free. A friend is saying. A crime bonus here, but we have records to show. Say anya hwe krampo no 115,000 bidie. Omo jai niema boni ya na kan no mo ye no. Ai ne omo boa na mo ye safe mining. Na stella dia omo passion wo no motumi ye but omo ye no kwan paso. This is not to say it's a problem no call. But anya hwe krampo no. This government has a scorecard 115,000 of people who could or would have been in illegal mining are helping to actually fix this FN is saying helping in community mining schemes. Community mining schemes are buying lunch here. You be do no across these communities and medical account as infoni bidie and brand any bid almost overall Adam Kwame community mining, Esunafo community mining, Kenya say community mining, and a media river wardens here make omuni and you know omoni nam nsuo no so a omoboa ahwese ye betumi e de asoso sa nipa bone fo mo ya de hye esumase obi kan say na mo se mo de we nyina aba mo de river friend say ward na aba mo de speedboat aba adenti na stella ni Galamsey no ekoso pa mo chewo police for be wo man we mi Ghana be bia be fe bia police station ho ko bia police station ho ko no ejai nipa bone fo eja bone di clearly obi ye body a ye body no oye into what you do they say continuously what the strategy in the system be ba what the brain ase But to say, what the way in Aba, I didn't say like Galamsey Koso is quite unfair. Because your police station baby, and so still like Jumre, Ubi Bobby Chrono. Does it mean a police station in Guno? No. It means that it's a police for a day in Sakraya, Nema, Ahodro, Eba, no multimedia improve your safety. And the same thing applies to the river wardens and the speedboats at Galamsey. So, first batch of 300 river guards begins training at Eastern Naval Command, September 24, 2022. And all these river wardens, Omejuma on Beboa, no Mashe, no 1919, so na obi ka say na na mo the river board number na e ba ne say na sell Galamsey Koswa me pa mo chew. Is it not a fact that we have introduced river wardens on the river bodies? I don't know a fact. The other question is what we have done so far has it been able to fix every challenge of the river bodies? Not entirely so, but at least we have evidence that and can nipa 115,000 bi and come back to Galamsey and the year omo free ho and the omo area community mining schemes are almost safely across these mining communities. Machines say they buy 100 mercury free machines. The question is that no cre say the 100 mercury free machines about Independence Square ni machines in a good way. I no cre say had the 100 mercury free we friend saying schemes about. Nanado dan kweku fado and a friend is saying Lands and Natural Resources Minister in the World Freedom Parker almost share my commissions are machines. Enti no crese ye the machines na ba. No crese say some machines bois ema reduce the use of mercury in the processing of gold. It hasn't taken away every problem, but it is a fact say aba, and it is a fact say uko communities, mining communities in one omo de ye adwuma, and that for me is a very important point and a very important case to make. Procurement of speedboats to fight Galamsey. Any a fact say speedboats naba no crese speedboat no won so no so eboa e de be fight Galamsey. That is a fact that we cannot run away from. And they say obi be catch will say and almost some of the way no crese e de aba, but it hasn't been able to solve everything. It hasn't been able to fix the challenge entirely as we want it to fix. Number of persons free 2021 ya convict you any number of cases pending, number of the offenders saying statistics, any offenders saying prosecutions is all here. That is a fact. It doesn't change the fact that we still have challenges, but it is a fact that government has made these major interventions in our fight against Galamsey, and nobody can take it away. It is about putting in all this effort. Now, sorry, now who say the propaganda secretary of the NDC, I bet you say, yan 12 MPP ni to more, and then you ask yourself, hey, Obi was here, gentlemen, be or yes, I posted a gentleman. Bet you say, you think all of us have short memories, right? Actually, that is what the NDC think. The NDC thinks say you know short memory. Into omu to be true, don't pay biya, ka don't pay biya. Omu di ane say about one brasso no kwa de yen ka de pay biya na yen ko e baby. But this is 2024. Ye ma on ka de pay biya na on ko baby. Yen anye hwe krampo no ye gitum say we came to meet the Galamsey kanka that wo NDC Jomahama ne wa ban mo de baye, and we have made effort and shown through several strategies here they fight kanka no wakasa kwa wo obi wo. The question is, you and your government are introducing Galamsey, no, you gave up. Mo minister na can ve batem emphatic say we give you up. Na kebe to me yen regularizing illegal. Ade dey illegal no. Yen regularizing no. Ewo on my way mu. Enti nobody is going to sit down, keep quiet and allow you to throw dust. Obetum fu throw Google na fuani. And then what on Facebook say from January 7, 2017 to now, to me and Galamsey, and into Abentia. Ghana for, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to show to you one of the key reasons. But one of the key reasons why the fight against Galamsey has become difficult. The reason is simple. Galamsey, no, apart from the fact to say, with the police for any soldier for back up, nipa, chinipa, to my prosecutor, mono, and ya dear nipa no, a honomote. Omo edi diem no mo bibia omo de enu no munim enti that's what they love to do. So at every point in time we use force ni bibia no na eye kasa kire ene kasa de na se o aban a wayɛ saa nneɛma yɛ amabobɔ so yi nyinaa strategies a yɛ introduce machines a yɛde aba community mining schemes a yɛde aba river wardens a yɛde aba ne ade nyina wo aban a ɔde saa nneɛma wei nyinaa aba operation Galamsey operation halt yɛde ne nyinaa ba yɛahyehyɛ excavators yɛakye nkurɔfoɔ egum yɛde prosecute ɔmo yɛkyɛ sɛ strategy bia you can think of aban wei de aba yɛde drones aba ɛnam wiem still nipa no yɛ Galamsey simply because yɛwɔ political party bi a embra ɔman no yɛn nyinaa yɛka yɛn ho abom a yɛse yɛnka yɛn ho bom no yɛnkɔ Galamsey no ɔmo deɛ esa ne vote bi a ɔmo expect wɔ Galamsey site ho nti na ɔmo akɔ nti ewia ɔmo bankan a na ɔmo bɛka MPP they need to fight Galamsey they are not doing enough to fight Galamsey their people are involved in Galamsey it is the MPP mpanyinfoɔ na ɔmo kɔ Galamsey ɛne adeɛ mo ma yɛntie their NDC foɔ ɔmo kɔ Galamsey pits mu ne mining communities ni mu a ɔmo ka kyerɛ Ghanafoɔ mi wɔ videos maako mmiɛnsa baako ɛyɛ NDC deputy communications officer on a parliamentary candidate ɛwɔ area nim ɛne Mr. Tony Obina na under NDC ɔyɛ minerals commission boss ɔmo ase ɔmo san ba abɛn mu biem a ɔno a na ɔbɛsɛ akɔ minerals commission as mineral commission boss na mo san so ahwɛ another video a ɔmampanin dada nankasa egyina hɔ ebien no mu ton sɛ ɔmo adi bɔne no a ɔyɛ kye ɔmo no ɔba obɛgye ɔmo no mo menhwɛ videos wei yɛba ne abɛto ankomodie no so
na ne kasa ase no ma wo bia sisi a mo hu no wa ha no ɔbɛhunu sɛ the land ne sitie ɔbɛka na meboa after on the 11th that way on the 7th no nti sɛ ya wo hɔ ɛde mam because ɔno a ne bɛsa akɔtena hɔ sɛ de bɛya yɛ nua no mo brɛ yɛ ɔmo yɛ adwuma kyɛ kakra mo so bɛnya sa ase ne bi nanso yasa ɛde machine si so asɛ si wa ma wo a ɔbɛkɔ akɔ han nanso de aba bɛyɛ adwuma nanso no kurom no nkɔ kɔ so ayɛ dɛ ɛdi yie nti wo kɔ akɔto aba no a John Dramani Mahama etu direct Anthony Obi ɔno ana John Dramani Mahama so man ne so mɛka yɛn ho ɔna ne kasa ase no ma wo bia sisi a mo hu no wa ha no ɔbɛhunu sɛ the land ne sitie ɔbɛka na meboa after on the 11th that way on the 7th no nti sɛ ya wo hɔ ɛde mam because ɔno a ne bɛsa akɔtena hɔ sɛ de bɛya yɛ nua no mo brɛ yɛ ɔmo yɛ adwuma kyɛ kakra mo so bɛnya sa ase ne bi nanso yasa ɛde machine si so asɛ si wa ma wo a ɔbɛkɔ akɔ han nanso de aba bɛyɛ adwuma nanso no kurom no nkɔ kɔ so ayɛ dɛ ɛdi yie nti wo kɔ akɔto aba no a John Dramani Mahama etu direct
ezu yɛba ɔmo kyi ɔmo Galamsey no ɔmo ato ɔmo mu yɛbɛma ɔmo amnesty na ɔmo asan aba ezu yɛba ɔmo kyi ɔmo Galamsey no ɔmo ato ɔmo mu yɛbɛma ɔmo amnesty na ɔmo asan aba ezu yɛba ɔmo kyi ɔmo Galamsey no ɔmo ato ɔmo mu yɛbɛma ɔmo amnesty na ɔmo asan aba ezu yɛba ɔmo kyi ɔmo Galamsey no ɔmo ato ɔmo mu yɛbɛma ɔmo amnesty na ɔmo asan aba
ɔna ne kasa ase no ma wo bia sisi a mo hu no wa ha no ɔbɛhunu sɛ the land ne sitie ɔbɛka na meboa after on the 11th that way on the 7th no nti sɛ ya wo hɔ ɛde mam because ɔno a ne bɛsa akɔtena hɔ sɛ de bɛya yɛ nua no mo brɛ yɛ ɔmo yɛ adwuma kyɛ kakra mo so bɛnya sa ase ne bi nanso yasa ɛde machine si so asɛ si wa ma wo a ɔbɛkɔ akɔ han nanso de aba bɛyɛ adwuma nanso no kurom no nkɔ kɔ so ayɛ dɛ ɛdi yie nti wo kwa akoto aba no a John Dramani Mahama too direct papa Dr. Anthony Obin ono ana John Dramani Mahama suma ne so meke ho na ona ne tafa ase no ma wo bia sinsi amohu no ha no obehunu say the land in the city obeka nyame boa after on the 11th that way on the 7th no and she say ya wo ho e de mam because ono ana beta akot na ho say the be ya yenu anu bre o mo ye adwuma che kakrai musu be nya sa ase ni bi na so ya sa e ma chi si so ase si wa ma a obekọ akọ na so dia ba be ya adwuma na so do krom no nko ko so aye den e di hie enti wo kwa akoto aba no a John Dramani Mahama too direct papa Dr. Anthony Obin ono ana John Dramani Mahama suma ne so meke ho na ona ne tafa ase no ma wo bia sinsi amohu no ha no obehunu say the land in the city obeka nyame boa after on the 11th that way on the 7th no and she say ya wo ho e de mam because ono ana beta akot na ho say the be ya yenu anu bre o mo ye adwuma che kakrai musu be nya sa ase ni bi na so ya sa e de machine si so ase si wa ma a obekọ akọ han na so dia ba be ya adwuma na so do krom no nko ko so aye den e di hie enti wo kwa akoto aba no a John Dramani Mahama too direct
Ezu Yaba Omo chi omo Galamsey no omo atu omumu yeba ma omo amnesty no omo asaba Ezu Yaba Omo chi omo Galamsey no omo atu omumu yeba ma omo amnesty no omo asaba
How do we fight? How do we fight this canker? Say aban eden hihye egu fam na yede sojafo ekọ communities mu na yede ye ka kire omo ye Galamsey so bunjai na opposition for e bankran ya omo better radio so aka kire Ghana fo nyina say yes say MPP for na yes say nsuo say kwaye no no mu wi a no ma fesu ma say no ma combining community o ka say mon ye Galamsey mo ti da kwaku ban kan no oni Tony Obin na NDC embrace no ye head of Minerals Commission. Kwaku Boahe ankasa bie na no kache miners ne say so mo ba be mu bie mu a o mu nya kwan ba be mu bie mu Tony Obin na be Minerals Commission. Na o show mo say oba edwuma we obemo mo akoso aye na MPP of Tata omo nto mo nto abentia MPP na 7 December ye bobo abani wie na say NDC ewini a omo nyina ansa mra no mo edwuma na Tony Obin de nani ehu abehu asase nto no abetwetwa asase na yeden amomo. And then when you do this and you tell the people these things, na say wo wie wo be ka che ye say yen Ghana for yen to abama wo NDC, and the communications officer of the NDC has the guts to write on social media say yen to abenti MPP yen to momo yen to momo na mo matani Obin be Minerals Commission boss na mo Ghana for na omo ye mine na ye chi omo no enko ensan ko ye mining na sa wo kokka say che na ebe ye den ena sa ban e de aban state resources ekoko from kotena se na otu omo for betie koko efom no mugye mu yo anya bi omo mugye mu hu MPP penin bi wom omo mutu mining ni omo bom nsem yi mo hu MPP penin bi wom enye NDC mpenimfo kwaku boy Tony Obin NDC mpenimfo ena egira ho na e ka tro mo se omo nje omo mining na omo forget MPP na MPP for the soldier for Tata omo na omo de omo ba omo mo kwan no mayo omo mining. Why do we have everybody quiet on this video? Why are the CSOs not playing this video? Media houses, why are they not playing this video? How can government alone win this fight when you have such an opposition? Na se aban kono ni omo kokasa. Na so omo ti ase. Na sa opposition force come na so no mo koye se chiro mo. How do we solve such a problem? Enye we nko awo. Ebi omo fi say one off. Ebi a odakru bi pe na Kwaku Boahe nko pie mu wo ho. Mo me say the same Kwaku Boahe on the parliamentary candidate of the area. Mo me hwe video we ne de omo ka kire Ghana for omo ye minding MPP ho. Ene e kwa omo fa so omo hwe omo nkra say omo kwa so a enye Galamsey. Moment video Imbra.
And I do not hear no so see in another vanguard for no that over. And the prayers are crackers say, Yatua Baria, Mubesha, vanguard in Mukina. Yayan to not say, am I by when the good man? And you know, who yet you want to pay with 2 million time. More for them a bushing for. Now, we make sure about you for Roma, John Dramani Mahama. Yadia Womuni. Yenim say nyame bo amande na eko aba no ye ne mo sai owners for be kasa yenim say dum be ko srem edum be ko be bebre so mko so be su be to aba wa ya inti na ne ka say after by Friday omu break mo na obi antumi enya pepeye no ntumi antumi fe na busuafo na Monday ni duru a ye nyina ye de ko to aba ye to aba ni wie enye say ye ko ye bet na wo ama wabo baba na wie na ye Galamsey ko ye make sure say aba na ya to ama na ye Mahama no ye tumi akan na Mahama ye de di so ye to aba ni on the 7th on the 8th on the 9th ye bo aba na Mahama ye wi ni na mumra mbe ye boduma obi a me ka
I don't know. Send a pay for no 80 kind. Send a money no, Mr. Namia Galamsey. And now, Mecano, Yamiadum. This is Yami Buana Mutama John Dramani Mahama. Namutama Abubakar Sadika. Namuti said, John Mama Adim Kunim. I got a Sadik Adim Kunim. Now to this one, Muya Majuma. Now, Muso, you will Kuha, so Robert Asama. Musi who? Wait, you pay for this. If you are Tremo, Mama and Twabano, never more you go by. Vanguard no Omunguno. Vanguard no Edaso. About 20 no more my day. In my money, I knew who Tamana Vanguard day. Oh, if you are Tremo, your Dutch Abaton a day. Yes, I'm going to get a massy. Okay, Obianya too sure. Yes, and I'm right, no. And then I no pay, and no call man so dubia. Also, the Galamsey, why not you born of the Ono say 2 about 4 years ni di adwuma no yen kan hu se yentumi nye bi na yen adwuma ti say because of ye beto aba and na 1 month pe wa se dey ni say yentumi nye de yen adwuma yen pese adwuma ne begu Galamsey ye beto Ghana beto Galamsey ana ye adwuma na ye no so sie na na do vanguard for no mo da so ho and the prayers are crackers say ye to aba wi a mo be share sa vanguard ni mukina ye ntina say e ma aba we megu adwuma tie enti no mu ye adwuma na pese be wesi mu nyina mu time mo mfena mabusuafo na mu make sure say aba no ye nyina ko ma John Dramani Mahama ye de wo mu ni yenim say nyame bo amande na eko aba no ye ne mo sai owners for be kasa yenim say dum be ko srem edum be ko be bebre so mko so be su be to aba wa ya enti na ne ka say after by Friday omu break mo na obi antumi enya pepeye no ntumi antumi fe na busuafo na Monday ni duru a ye nyina ye de ko to aba ye to aba ni wie enye say ye ko ye bet na wo ama wabo baba na wie na ye Galamsey ko ye make sure say aba na ya to ama na ye Mahama no ye tumi akan na Mahama ye de di ntumi na ye to aba ni wie on the 7th on the 8th on the 9th ye bo aba na Mahama ye wini na mumra mbe ye boduma obi a me ka I don't know. Send a pay for no 80 kind. Send a money no, Mr. Namia Galamsey.
It was for we any equa ye warm esi a betri so e wo my way mu a ye no mo ADC NDC pinning for parliamentary candidates, national officers, senior members of the NDC, Semino Kasanadwi, and in the mining communities, catch Romo say, Nanado Danko Kufodo MPP are buying same Weduma. Na politics ebeto Galamsey. Yen Tinase, na MPP are buying say Galamsey Ejuma. Na ono parliamentary candidate no. Omu nyina nim se edwuma yi enu bia na oye na o show mo bo se to aba ni wie na se mahama wini a omu nyina mbra no mo maye omadwuma na galam stop na nado eye ne vanguard no onjai na njai china na de tie ne se wakra na nado akra cars dodo kra se aba be council de mesojafo na sojafo na be tata omo ewo omo mining pit mu eni to omo to abentia na nado danko ekufo ado se de beya adomahama beba na da ye bebobo se adomahama e win elections no omunya bobo ya obi emra no obi ambe na dwuma. This is the NDC. CSOs, religious leader, organized labor penny, traditional authority. Se one can video we one someone me can't check Ghana for say Galamsey how you haven't done a press release on these videos. Don't tell us say you are worried about Galamsey. Before you get worried about Galamsey, or you tell us you are worried about Galamsey, let us see you write and condemn this. How do you fight such a social canker when you have such obstacles? And then we know, say, as we speak, in the mining communities, the NDC are moving around, and they are telling them, say, no, do tatamo. Then the same NDC will come to Accra and come and write such. But their propaganda secretary say, we are not fighting Galamsey, so we should vote for them. When these same people are in the pits, encouraging the people to continue to mine illegally and destroy our forests and water bodies. Omuba, no one bet omo people monim. Omo si omo hwe the NPP for netre. Okaya kai say, omo nim site owners no. Into omo ne site owners ne kokasa. No omo mu nyina akwan, no mo tibi akoye akoto aba etia nanado. Na yeto aba ni wie bobo wie ya no, omo mbra, no omo meye omadwuma. Na we ya ban. Na se wo obstacle say in an opposition party. Na se obia condemn omo, obia nkasa ntie omo, obia huru omo say de omo ye den ya. How are you going to succeed? The same people who brought Galamsey in this current form on us in 2010-2011. The same people who gave up on the fight against Galamsey and said, say, they are rather recommending, say, you're regularizing illegal mining. No? These same people today are telling the mining communities, vote against Nanado because Nanado fighting Galamsey. Nanado is not fighting Galamsey. So they go to the mining communities and tell them that Nanado is fighting you and destroying your source of livelihood. Vote against him. Then they come to Accra, no makache and crime for and say, Nanado is not fighting Galamsey. You have this video, and you are a civil society organization. You are organized labor. You are religious leader. We are traditional authority. Now one can video one some and release this statement into your video where. Don't come and tell us that you love the you are fighting against Galamsey, because no single citizen has demonstrated the commitment to fight Galamsey than Nanado Danko Akufo-Addo. Nanado has suffered political losses simply because he was fighting against Galamsey. Mining communities say Wagana Henyina Nanado lose votes simply because he's fighting against Galamsey. How do you come and tell me say Nanado is not fighting against Galamsey when he's losing in these communities because he's fighting against Galamsey? How do you win the fight against a social canker when you have the biggest opposition party enabling these people to continue to mine in unsafe ways and illegal ways like they are doing? And then you come mining areas now. Omo bebre they are told me say oh NDC for say omo ba omo meya Galamsey. Enti no 3 months ye chi utu kra 3 months me ba sisi ya na NDC for bana yaba be Galamsey. The former president who is asking say yento abama no ebie na no ton kan say so no be o mampani a obi a wa Galamsey ya chi ne bia obegya no. Mo share video no. Obi a oye Galamsey a yachi ne bia obegya no pacho mo size embo sa video de ma me biem. We want to hear.
Yeba omo chi omo Galamsey no omo atu omo mu yeba ma omo amnesty no omo asaba Yezu Yaban Omo chi omo Galamsey no omo atu omumu yebema omo amnesty no omo asaba
Omampeni dada na ode Galamsey ba ye na breso ba o my way mu in this form 2010 went to me so ano no ani mpanimfo opa wo mu se omo mboa ne ye kuntia Galamsey no se omo apaba omo ntumi nye nti nkebetumi ya anka Galamsey na ya de bone mpo nka ye regularize no o se nipa bone ye fo omodi bone a ya chi omo atum no so ne ba obegja omo nanse ya oye media engagement obi bisa o se why media meja omo because me gidi se akasefo na ewo mu no campaigns no omo ne nam e na nketenkete na ya chi omo na je bia mpa ocho ena nwumre yi se am robber ekowie obi na police for kochina police for bisa de se wo boss osoma wo he na se oche ne boss na ye gya no na yakwakoche ne boss na what kind of leader is this former president? What kind of leader is the former president? Say omo ye bone e na mbra atwe omo aso e na ya che omo ba me ba me gya omo e ma omo akoye omo Galamsey. And then you have civil society organization, you have traditional authorities, you have organized labor, you have trade unions writing and attacking the government only without picking on this. You don't love this country if you continue this. One door mine, one person be end Galamsey. So what was you say? Because clearly no, aban ye na femu de. Even though aban betumi aye bia ka ho, nti ye prese ye betumi aye dodo no. So one can NDC for near me ya maboache we ne ho asem a. Don't present yourself to Ghanaians as if you love this country. You have an agenda. It's 3 months to elections. Akabo so me miensa ekotoaba nti no nko fambra na me fa me chichire so aban. Bebi ade ni tiri wo. Bebi ani tiri wo ne fapem na ama aban tokwa na okona ye dere de. Minjan ho asem ka. Dr. Mahmoud Ba me ase osre Ghana fo wada Roma. Bebi ni aye dodo na so na aka ye ntumi yenwie. But when it comes to the fight against Galamsey, he has a strategy which is based on experience. The idea no yentumi nya enye ya nkopem bebia ebetumi di solutions yi na amayen. Na mum ogidi se wo come mining areas na nipa no do do some mining. In addition to all the enforcement no yempe kwa bi e betumi abo mo no mutumi mine safely more. Enunti or the Minerals Development Bank beba. Sa bank no ebeboa ama Ghana fo enom kofa China fo omkofa Nigeria Burkina Faso fo eba beji om concession eye mine na nti omfa so eye niema enfata no omo nkoye ne sabium koso ye Ghana ni na wunya asase wo nananom ho na eye concession ebetumi am wanya gold a o de data ne be mawo wa be hu data ne hu sa ha gold wa ha hu wi a won nananom aka asase no wanya we decentralizing minerals commission no akofem licensing regime no nananom ka ho district assemblies ka ho na aboa na licensing netumi aye ntem se na Ghana ni bi ope bi obetumi nya bi wanya wie no wohia sika ye de beta wachi na wotumi de tu fa agudie no wonni bi ninti o se de obeya ne se obemba Mineral Development Bank no ama wo sika bosia na wo de akotu gold no na enei ye sika sem a aye den na dollar ebro ye sidia ye press ye betumi asoso ano no ade ba ko ode ba eye gold backed cedi na ti se ye sika no ye bemba na ho ode na akosoro se ye de gold ne beta echi nti ye boaw na wotu gold ni safely ya cheche kwan abefa so obetu no ni ade nyina awie ya ma sika kakra wotumi de etu in a safe manner na ban e de cedi ato na de akọ Bank of Ghana na building and reserves na de back gold no de be ba ne se e be ma win-win situation a lot more of some mercury free machines or the beba say the be Ghana for between the process gold yi na omuntumi process in a way a chemicals they be say yes we ni ensase ogidi say strategy say ye use ni nyina ye strategy say ye na mum emra so say ye be hwe bebe ye duro no na ya pe ekwan bi a ye betumi ahye mu kena na ye de some of these new strategies so say den aba abeka ho sanyoma we eye normal ye gidi say ehwe ekokan ehwe ekwa whilst you are enforcing the law, whilst you are making sure say all these illegalities are being done away with. Wobua na wardens letimi ayo adwuma wuji nipa no dodo na efi nsuo no so no se na be ya on sign ko nsuo no so nti ese ye pekọ ye be fa so ye be bo omo a on betumi amọ adwuma ye den akonenim wei ene de ekeka ho bebre ena Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia ene mining communities ene mining for no eka. He is not telling them so ba wa ye bone obe you for prison. He is not telling them so ba obe mo ma ye Galamsey any illegal mining. He's telling them so ba obema mo geo data no no mo hu baby potin a gold ne hye oba obema license regime na yemre no bia ope bibia no a wo concession etumi akwakoji bi na nanom eka license regime mu district assemblies eka license regime mu oba se wo ye Ghana ni na unya wo concession a se da be ya nkofa boni no meji usika nyina nti obe make sure say Minerals Development Bank e wo ho a edisika beta wachi na wotumi ede tu gold no madwi mo no sa wo de Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia ni so ade hu ni na dwenkyerɛ yi e bata dia omampani dada John Dramani Mahama ni NDC fo eyi ya Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia de no beboa na de dikan yetumi asoso Galamsey niama because he would have provided an alternate way of mining and safe way of mining, an appropriate way of mining for our people. Will be providing an avenue to be able to get this minerals mobilized by government to back our currency, to strengthen our currency. All your way now, I say, yeah, the technical vocational education training about Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia can say in these mining areas, no, or the appropriate and safe mining curriculum, ebeba sa TV training him. Say ebebe a nkolane mranti a omote mantemu a ye mining no mo or no kondo so be mining no metumi sua ekwan papa ye fa so a ye de mining efi omo school mbremu no mo wi a omotumi de aboa ne yetumi ye more appropriate and safe mining. Yen gindi say aban tokwa a okotu Galamsey nyina wetumi edi nkonim prekope. Enso ye gidi say between Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and the former President Mahama, there's a clear distinction in terms of ideas and vision. And Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is the right person for the future of this country, especially when it comes to the fight against Galamsey. He is not encouraging Galamsey. The former president is encouraging and enabling Galamsey. And that is a threat to the good people of this country. But that's it. Pastor was sembre, abeka me when you mri, na ya to adwen edin komosi. Me wogide bebre, say me nuanom genzi fo anom nim da. Say bebia Galamsey ni tiri ene the fapem efini no. Ene omo nyina ehu. And I'm very sure say moving forward, starting from tomorrow, CSOs, religious leaders, traditional authorities, organized labor ne ade nyina no. Ye kasemu ene ye ni ye mu no. Ye behwe afani afa nyina. Say na be betumi ama obia will sit on their friend is saying will stand on their toes and make sure say they are doing the right thing to support the country's fight against Galamsey. This fight enye na Akufo-Addo ko enye MPP ko eye Ghana man nyina ye ko na se kabom na ye de adwen ba ko ne akoma ba ko edi eche ne ye ko a be de say nipa bonefo ebenya baby ejina say we MPP say we NDC say we CPP Galamsey eye adebone a yes so and we will not stop the fight against this canker until we do away with it. Bedamase na nyame adoma kwesiada ebe so nse hia makra mu nyina.